President Trump on the warpath at a campaign rally last night, targeting the anonymous official who wrote the New York Times op-ed claiming that a cabal of senior officials are secretly working to rein Trump in to protect the country, calling the president amoral, impulsive, and reckless. Some 24 administration officials, including Vice President Mike Pence, have denied writing it, but President Trump is demanding answers. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl tracking it all. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. The president sees this essay as not simply an act of defiance. He sees it as an act of treason. At a rally overnight in Montana, the president portrayed the anonymous op-ed in the New York Times as the act of a traitor.
The latest act of resistance is the op-ed published in the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward. Is it subversion? Is it treason? It's a horrible thing.
As the White House tries to root out the author of the explosive op-ed, allegedly written by one of his own top officials, the president called on the New York Times to name the author.
But for the sake of our national security, the New York Times should publish his name at once. I think their reporters should go and investigate who it is. That would actually be a good scoop.
The anonymous official claims to be one of many within the Trump administration working to protect the country from the president. Writing in the New York Times, "We believe our first duty is to this country, and the president continues to act in a manner that is detrimental to the health of our republic. This isn't the work of the so-called deep state. It's the work of the steady state." The essay prompted an extraordinary game of not it from the president's cabinet, with one senior official after another issuing statements to deny they were the author, from Defense Secretary James Mattis to Attorney General Jeff Sessions to the Secretary of State.
I come from a place where if you're not in a position to execute the commander's intent, you have a singular option. It is to leave.
Even the vice president felt the need to say it wasn't him.
Anyone who would write an anonymous editorial smearing this president, who's provided extraordinary leadership to this country, should not be working for this administration. They ought to do the honorable thing, and they ought to resign.
The First Lady is speaking out, too, issuing a statement accusing the writer of, quote, sabotaging the country. As the president's team here in Washington tries to hunt down the critic within who wrote that anonymous op-ed, the president remains out on the campaign trail. George, he will be campaigning today in South Dakota and in North Dakota.
And John, overnight we also have new developments in the Mueller investigation. The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, really seeming to be throwing down the gauntlet there, saying now the president won't take any questions, even written questions, about obstruction of justice.
Extraordinary statements by the president's lawyer. He says no questions on obstruction of justice, written or in person. He also says that the president will not agree to do any follow-up questions, and of course no questions whatsoever in terms of a live interview. It almost seems like he is trying to provoke the special counsel to issue a subpoena, although, George, we are told by others close to the president that the negotiations are actually moving along, and they expect some form of resolution with the special counsel.
And Mueller's team will be in court today for the sentencing of that former Trump campaign aide, George Papadopoulos.
Yeah, this is the first person who has cooperated with the special counsel. The sentencing is today. He could face up to 6 months in prison.
We will be following it all. John Carl, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.